Hey guys, it's Tim with Rev-Tac Firearm Instruction, and Tanya is right over there sitting by the fire in a love sack. But I have had kind of this weighing on me for a little bit. What I've seen a lot lately is, well, even as we're getting up into Minnesota, uh, the titles. All right. My concern with that is that just because you're a certified instructor does not mean that you actually know what you're doing. And that's sad. That's scary. That'd be like somebody saying, hey, listen, I'm a certified plumber, but then every pipe they put in leaks and, things don't drain right and all of that jazz. All right. That would suck. And so how do you differentiate a good plumber from a bad plumber? Well, it's tough in the firearms industry because you don't know if you're getting pushed bad information, right? Because you kind of put that person on a pedestal. And so if they tell you to hold a gun this way, then you're going to hold the gun that way. And, if you hit your target and your target's a 2 by 3 foot piece of cardboard and you think that that's, the standard because they said that's the standard, then man, you walk away thinking you're good. All right. And so how do you measure this? And one thing that I would say is, first off, recognize that if somebody is just NRA or USCCA certified, that's not enough, right? That's not enough. Okay, so find their actual credentials, and then the next thing that I would say is that I would ask them, when was the last time you took a course with somebody else? All right. And then who was it? And did you pass? And the reason I say that is because, again, I'm not trying to cast any shade on these, big businesses that certify you. But what ends up happening is that almost anyone can pass those courses. I mean, you have to really jack up. I'm not talking about just a little bit. You really have to do something crazy. I'll give you an example. One of the courses that we went through to get certified, and I'm purposely being vague, but they had people in that class that had never shot in a handgun before, and they left a day later certified as a pistol instructor, right? What? And they weren't good. They ended up having to qualify with a 22 in order to, pass the qualification. And I mean, it was just crazy, but they left with the credentials to teach you how to shoot. And so that's pretty scary, and that's out there a lot. And so one thing that we saw recently was when we were up in Minnesota, a lot of these companies, they're teaching 20-year ago grips. They have some crazy stances. We saw a lot of safety violations just in their pictures off their website. And if you don't know that stuff, you would never know. All right. So I would ask that instructor when the last time they took an actual course with somebody else. And if they said, I didn't, well, you should be concerned because, well, a couple things. First off, as instructors, we should never be the master. We should always be the student, okay? And, there's a saying from the Bible that says iron sharpens iron. And this is really important to realize that we need to have stronger, better people teaching us, and then we can take away that stuff and give it back to our students. The next thing is if they don't actually live what they're teaching, meaning if they're not a subject matter expert, if they can't perform what they're asking you to do, they probably shouldn't be teaching you, right? So we went and took a course with a guy, a concealed carry class, and he doesn't even carry. He doesn't even carry on a day-to-day basis. And he's going to teach you about personal defense? That's crazy. The guy can't shoot. The guy doesn't know how to draw from a holster, but he's teaching you that, right? And he's not really teaching you, he's certifying you to be able to concealed carry without ever teaching you what you actually need to know. So we've got a lot of issues as far as that stuff goes, but we can't just go about calling out companies. We have to just make you aware that not everyone is great out there and that you have to go find out for yourself, all right? At the very least, make sure that their credentials are up to date, meaning, and this is the other thing, guys, because here's the thing, I'm about to retire as a sniper, right? Or from that world. And 10 years from now, I can't ride those coattails anymore. 5 years from now, I can't really ride those coattails. I could say, hey, I was a sniper in the Army. That's neat. But then at some point, you have to recognize that, wait a second, what I did 5 years ago does not mean that I'm as sharp as I was then, right? So I mean, if I haven't kept up on those skills, then I probably suck and I just have this title, I'm no better than the average hunter probably at this point. So I want you guys to make sure that you're actually looking into this stuff better, right? Ask some questions. When did you take your last class? What certifications do you have? And if they're just the standard certifications, it's probably not good enough. They should be certified through some other people as well. All right. And then what about, if they're riding on a law enforcement or military credentials, then that's cool. How long ago were you doing that? Because I'm telling you guys, the doctrine has changed in the last few years to where we don't do things the way we did even 5 years ago, right? And so if somebody is teaching something from their time in the service, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that's probably not up to date, all right? It's probably not up to date unless they've done continuing education with other people, all right? So request these things, make sure you're good to go. The other thing I would say is look for a humble instructor. We posted a video. It circulated around the internet, social media, of that one instructor teaching those two guys how to shoot a revolver, right? And he discharges that gun accidentally, and they said, "Hey, did you mean to do that?" And he said, "Yeah, right." I mean, this thing smacks him in the face, and he's like, "Yeah, I meant to do that." And he kind of bounces around arrogantly for a second, and then just goes back on to teaching. What? All right, that guy is not good for this business, right? And the scary part is that if you get an instructor like that, A, we need to be able to tell you when we've jacked up. And then B, that guy is not open to learning. I promise you that guy, and he was teaching stuff from a long time ago. So we need to make sure that we're actually getting kind of a humble, somebody who's there to serve you as the client. So Tanya, you got anything you want to add?
If you're not willing to learn, then no one can help you.
Okay, I love it. Love it. All right. Well, that's about it for now. If you guys have anything you want to add, if you want to talk about the stuff that maybe, I'm sure this is the same in your industry, I would love to hear about it. It doesn't matter if you're a cook at a restaurant or if you, work at a bank. Obviously, things change and you got to keep up to date on that stuff. I'd love to hear about it. Anyway, remember, fate favors the prepared. Stay alert, stay alive, stay humble, stay violent, stay all of those things. We'll talk to you later.